Hey everyone, my name is Perry and welcome back to the cassette phase. So about a month ago, I brought you all along while I organized my VHS storage closet. Well, I've acquired some more tapes since then, so I figured why not bring you all along again. And this time will be a little bit different because I've basically run out of room in there on the shelves. So I'll be moving some movies into totes and bins in order to make room for some of the new movies that I've recently obtained. So short intro today because this will really just be another organizing video, but we'll be sure to talk movies and share stories as we go. Sound like fun to you? Come hang out. Okay everyone, let's head back into the VHS storage closet here. The miniature blockbuster, if you will. And I always got to do a quick look around for anybody who's new. We'll just do a quick one. Mostly VHS tapes, but you know, some other fun stuff too, all throughout. But today, the main purpose of the video is I wanted to bring you guys along while I integrated in these new tapes that I've acquired. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So 10 new tapes. One of them, that Batman on top, is a cartoon, obviously, so we'll have to work it into this shelf. And then the rest will either go in with the movies that are, you know, visible here, or I'll work them into some of the tubs and bins down here on the floor. So like I mentioned in the intro, the tricky part about today is going to be deciding which 10 tapes am I going to pull and put into the bins. And it's really not a big deal because, you know, they're still easily accessed. I can get to them whenever I want to. It's just kind of a matter of which ones do we want on display, which ones do we want to get to the most quickly, I guess. Yeah, so my first step will be, as usual, to remove the few little knickknacks that I have. Let's get those out of the way, and then we can start looking at the movies and figuring out where to go from there. Okay, so we've got a blank slate to work with here. I've got the new tapes down here in alphabetical order, ready to go. Ready to work in. And I noticed that I had a little bit of space behind where I had those water bottles for a couple more tapes. So I really only need to clear room for about 8, I would say. The easy part will be the cartoons. So we need to find a spot for Batman. Right off the bat, I'm thinking one of those Babysitter Club videos can come out and go to a tub. I've got 2. You know, one of them will still be visible. And that means I won't have to move much. I won't have to do much shifting because it's already right there in order. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so Batman is in its new home, and the extra Babysitters Club tape. Do you guys remember that show? I've got it moved down here, and I'm going to start a pile for tapes to put in the bins. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so as we work our way through the collection, with the hope and the goal is to remove, let's say, 7 tapes. 7, maybe 8. Because those new movies, I think I've decided they all need a spot on the shelves. So right off the bat, the first thing I see is Fievel Goes West. It's got its charm. I've watched it a few times, but it's not nearly as good as the original, as I've talked about. So An American Tail is represented. Fievel Goes West. Fievel goes to the bins. All right, as we keep it moving here, just looking, first pass, I'm just looking for anything that jumps out. Like Beethoven's Second is a good option, since we already have Beethoven right there, and I'm really not missing much by not having Beethoven's Second out on display. And you guys are probably going to think that about 20 or 30 different movies as you see, but they all have sentimental value and certain things that I like about each one, so you guys are probably laughing at me, but this is something that takes a little thought for me. It just is. It's funny. Looking for anything that jumps out. Nothing on that pass. So yeah, let's go ahead and take down Beethoven's Second. And it is a candidate for the tubs. So that's 2. Let's keep going. Okay, as we continue our pass, our initial pass through, looking for anything that jumps out. I'm seeing the double Ewok movies, but I feel like those are a little bit more rare on VHS, and I really like them. I've got really fond memories of both, so they're probably going to both stay there. Let's see. Now that Listen to Me, no offense to anyone who likes that movie. I watched it once and it kind of bored me. So it's definitely a candidate to go to the tubs. Seeing as we're all the way to the M's already, let's go ahead and do that. Listen to Me. Yeah, I mean, it's got Jamie Gertz in it, which is awesome, of course, but it also has Kirk Cameron. So kind of tells you what kind of movie it probably is going to be. You know, it's just kind of dull. Just kind of, I don't know. It wasn't horrible. It just wasn't my favorite. So it will live just fine in the tubs. So that's 3 if we don't include Babysitter's Club. Let's see, where were we? I think we were over here. Let's see. Okay, now this copy of X2, X-Men Part 2. Let's see if I can get it. That's my favorite of the early X-Men movies. But I'm not crazy about the way the spine looks. You know, I tried to get these stickers off, but I didn't want to damage the sleeve. So I think X2 might be a good candidate. I have it on DVD also. So yeah, let's go ahead and move the mutants on down to the tub. I also may move Yellow Submarine because I have, let me try to do this slowly. I have like kind of some concert tapes and like bands up here, and I do have some room up there still. else, I think I might move Yellow Submarine. I know it's a movie, a good movie at that, but I think it'll be okay up there with the concert footage. So let's do that, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, Yellow Submarine has found its new home up there next to David Lee Roth and Stevie Nicks and New Kids on the Block. So let's go back down to where we were. And I think after all this movement, we really only need to move 2 more. So let's see. I mean, I've got 3 men and a baby and 3 men and a little lady, although I do like both. You guys are probably screaming, Turtles 3, get rid of it. Can't do it. I mean, I'd honestly rather move episode 1 to the tub than I would Star Wars episode 1 to the tub than I would Turtles 3. I know that's weird, but... Okay, so She-Devil is an option, it's a consideration. I'm not a huge fan of that. I probably should watch it again. I think I've seen it a couple times and neither time it really grabbed me, but let's go back through one more time, just see anything worse than that I care less than about than She-Devil. You know, Batman Forever, I just like the characters in it. I know it's not a very good movie, but I really like the characters in that one. Maybe Blue Chips? That's an option. Really cheesy 90s basketball movie with Shaquille O'Neal in it. And those of you who've been around a while, you know that my main like 20 favorites are out on the shelf in the den, out on display, not even in the closet. That's why you're not seeing things like Gremlins 1 and Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and things like that. Well, Back to the Future is in here, but I've got another copy out there too. It's just one of my favorites. Yeah, so I'm thinking She-Devil, come on down. Even though I love that Orion home video logo. Maybe I'll give this another go this Halloween. See if it holds up a little bit better. And let's go Blue Chips. Not saying Shaq's not a good actor, but you know. Alright, so let me start doing some shifting and see where that puts us, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so I've shifted everything on the bottom row here to make room for the last one alphabetically in the new stack of tapes, which is Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Just an okay movie, but you know what? I got this at an estate sale recently, and I thought it was so cool how it had, you know, the protective plastic sleeve on it. You could tell it came from a grocery store video rental place in Houston. Randall's, up here where I'm at, I think they're called, it's more Tom Thumb. I think it's the same chain. But yeah, I just liked how it had that grocery store video rental place packaging. So it has a new home right there. Let's keep moving. Okay, and I didn't have to go far for the next one. I shifted like, I don't know, 15 tapes or so and made room for Signs, which is a pretty modern movie. it makes me think, you know, this should be on DVD, which I do have it on DVD as well. Like, I was actually kind of surprised this was even on VHS, but I do like the movie a lot. I think it's creepy and fun. So it has a new home in between 16 Candles and Sidekicks. The next movie I need to make some room for would be Pleasantville. So let's do that now. All right, so we did some moving, some shifting all the way over to here in between Platoon and Police Academy 2. Pleasantville. I remember seeing this in the theater with a group of friends in high school. You know how high school kids are. I was just, you know, a punk kid who thought that I had seen something artsy. I was like, oh wow, this was like artsy, like art house cinema. Like there's all kinds of symbolism in this, and you know, I could write a paper on this movie if I had to for school. You know, watching it back now, no, it's not. It's pretty basic, but it's still a really good movie. You know, for the time, I think it was kind of pretty original. But yeah, so it has a new home right there. Next one I've got to move some things for is Less Than Zero. Okay, and I realized after I did Signs and before I did Pleasantville, I went the wrong way when I was shifting, so whoops, but the magic of editing, you didn't have to sit through me going back and fixing that. So I've got room now for a pretty great 80s movie here, Less Than Zero. A little dark, but still really good, I think. I like this one. So it's going in between Lethal Weapon and Legend of Sleepy Hollow. All right. Making progress here. The next one we've got is It. All right, after some more shifting, we made a couple of spots because I've got It, like I mentioned. Luckily, it's just the single tape and not the double. And then I've also got Iron Eagle 3, which was a gift from friend of the channel, Joe. Shout out. Thank you, Joe. Haven't watched that yet, but I will be. Looking forward to that for sure. And you guys are probably thinking, what a pain in the butt to do this, you know, once a month or whatever. But I don't know, it's actually relaxing to me just to like come in here, move some movies around, and especially now that I've been filming it and sharing the process with you guys, it really doesn't bother me. It's kind of relaxing. So with that said, let's move some more tapes. Okay, and right here next to Dreamscape, which is actually one of my favorite old movies from back in the day. I think I remember seeing it on like late night cable one night when I was up, and probably shouldn't have been, but yeah, that's a good movie if you haven't seen it. But right next to it, we're gonna go with the 90s thriller, Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd in Double Jeopardy. Now I haven't seen this since back in the 90s when I rented it from Blockbuster, so looking forward to watching that one again and seeing if it's still entertaining. Next in line, up here in the D's, we have Daryl, which is also a gift from friend of the channel, Joe. And I have watched this one. I sat down and watched it on a lunch break about a week ago, and this thing was awesome. The scenery and the atmosphere in this movie was so 80s. I mean, it was just spot on. I know there's a lot of baseball in it, but it felt like a fall movie to me. So this is one that I'm probably going to be watching a lot going into the fall. Yeah, I really appreciate this one. Really cool movie, starring the kid from Neverending Story. So it goes now up next to Dances with Wolves. And as I was shifting, I was like, look at this little stretch in the D's here. We've got Daryl, Dances with Wolves, Dangerous Minds, Days of Thunder, Dazed and Confused, Dead Poet Society, The Dead Zone, Death Becomes Her, Deep Impact, Deep Star 6. You maybe skip Desperately Seeking Susan, but I like it. Dick Tracy and a couple of diehards. That's a pretty good little run. Like if you were gonna sit down and watch movies for the next few weeks, that wouldn't be a horrible little run of films to watch. What do you guys think? And last, but definitely not least, in the C's here, I had to make space for Christine, which I don't want to talk too much about because I'm going to do a whole video where I review the book and then the movie. because I'd never seen this, and I just read the book recently about, a couple months back, and then watched this a few weeks back and kind of compared. But yeah, really fun stuff. As we get closer to the Halloween season, I've got like a little lineup of things that I want to talk about, including the review of Christine book and movie. And how fitting that it's right there next to Carrie. Okay, so that's it for the shelves. For today anyway. Like I said, this is going to be a perpetually ongoing type of process, but it's fun. I hope you guys aren't too bored. So the last thing I need to do today is start putting some of these into tubs, so hang tight and I'll bring you along for that as well. Okay everyone, welcome back to the rug, kind of. As you can see, the tubs that I had going previously are kind of overflowing, pretty full. So I've got a couple more of these small ones here that I'm going to integrate in. What I'd like to do eventually is have these be a little bit more organized. I'm probably not going to do it today, but I would like for this one to be like all clamshells maybe. And eventually I'd like to maybe even have just a whole tub of taped off a TV movies, because those are always fun. But yeah, so let me do a little bit of organizing here, and I'll be right back with you. And really quick, while I was going through these, I found this sealed copy of Charlotte's Web with this little promo on it. Video rebate offer. Let's see if I can get it to focus without the glare. Also, at theaters everywhere this holiday season, Addams Family Values and Wayne's World 2. Yeah, love stuff like that. See, it's a purchased at McDonald's, not for resale or rental. Just had to show you guys that. I thought that was funny. Anybody need a copy of Space Camp? I have two. This was one that I definitely remember checking out from the library. But it was actually kind of a star-studded cast. I mean, Leah Thompson, I think Kelly Preston, definitely some others that I'm not thinking of right now. But yeah, I've got two copies of this. It's actually a pretty good movie. So if you want my duplicate, shoot me an email and maybe I can send it your way. I've got a couple more former rentals here. Masters of the Universe from Garland Video. And also this G.I. Joe. I'm not sure where this one came from, but it's in the same case. Maybe from the same place, I don't know. You know, you hunt for this stuff long enough, you find some really weird things. Here is Rainbow Bright San Diego Zoo Adventure. And yes, that's right, this is a live action Rainbow Bright movie. You know, I watched this one time, and the coolest thing about it, honestly, was the scenery at the zoo in the 80s and the people walking by. That was the best part. Maybe I'll put this in one day and we can do maybe a little watch along. I don't know. I don't know if YouTube will let me, but pretty interesting stuff right there. Okay, so we're not perfect, but we at least made some room. So I've got plenty of space in some of these to add more. I'm going to box these all back up and get them back into the storage closet. All right, guys, we are back in business. Nice organized tubs. Got some drawers with some DVDs, mostly clamshells. And then as you guys saw, we have the shelves with the knickknacks back in place as well. So, appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll probably do this again in about a month. And there we are. So as you can see, this type of video will likely be an ongoing thing because as we know, collectors are never really finished, right? So if you enjoy things like VHS tapes and movies or just fun nostalgia in general, consider subscribing. But for now, and as always, relax, enjoy life, and be kind. We'll see you in the next one.